day and in the night I hear that river all the same. It's calling me over, calling out my pain. Oh, a river gathers tears just like a river gathers rain. Water heal my body, water heal my soul. When I go down to the water, by the water I feel whole. The river is a traveler, always on the go, and a river never worries if it's fast or if it's slow. River, take me to where I need to go. Oh, and I will just relax and let the river flow. Water heal my body, water heal my soul. When I go down to the water, by the water I feel whole. Water heal my body, water heal my soul. When I go down to the water, by the water I feel whole. When I go down to the water, by the water I feel whole.
Good morning and welcome to the Zoom service of UUCC, the Unitarian Universalist Church of Canandaigua. UUCC is a congregation that fosters personal and spiritual growth through religious exploration in search of the truth while celebrating diversity and affirming the worth and dignity of every person. We are glad that you're joining us today. My name is Thomas Lyon, and I am going to be your worship coordinator. Today's service is titled Pioneer, and it will be led by our very own Brandon Steele. I have one announcement. Our summer worship schedule will be virtual on Zoom, except for the second Sundays, which is, there's one second Sunday in August, which is the 14th, when we plan to have an in-person with Zoom options, followed by potluck at the church. We are now going to enter a space of worship. Let's see if I can find my match. Please join us in the chalice lighting words. We gather this hour as people of faith, with joys and sorrows, gifts and needs. We light this beacon of hope, sign of our quest for truth and meaning in celebration of the life we share together. I will now hand it over to Brandon for opening words.
Good morning. Welcome to church today. It's a pleasure to be here with you all. I'd like to start with a little story. My family, when approaching the summer vacation, likes to make lists. Not myself. This is mostly my wife and kids. But they want to use the time well, and so they think about what they would like to accomplish during the summer vacation when school's out. Camping, visiting parks, fishing, going to the zoo. These are all things that they would like to check off the list as they find meaning in the summer vacation. And I think that there's a metaphor for that here as we come to church. Whether you have a written list or something just in your mind, I hope that something today checks off a box on that list, that you find meaning in the togetherness, meaning in being together with each other. We're not in the same building together, but wherever you are, I am glad that you're here. I'm glad that you're with us. Thank you.
All right, sorry. The opening hymn today is 188, Come, Come, Whoever You Are. All right. 1 second. All right, now is the part in our service where we share our joys and sorrows. We are a community that holds one another in our celebrations and in our pain. Please share your joys and sorrows in the chat box on Zoom, and know that whatever is on your heart, we are with you. For the joys and sorrows shared and those held in your heart, know that we are with you. I'd especially like to recall those shared today. Joy of being a visitor, the dedication of our members and the activism that they share. Struggles with illness, visiting or going on vacation and seeing wildlife, just relaxing in your backyard, and courage. We hold these and all the biggest feelings in our hearts. Now is the time in our service to join together in a spiritual practice of generosity. Our gifts support the church's work, and the work is summarized in our covenant, which reads, "In service of the values that unite us, we will recognize the inherent value of each person, foster a community of compassion and caring for all, value our diversity, and engage in respectfully in all interactions." If you'd like to give today, you can visit our website, or you can mail directly to the church. Regardless of that, please identify whether your donation is to the church or if it will be shared with our partner. The chosen partner for the summer season is Food for the Spirit, a nonprofit organization that uses art and creative facilitation to support racial healing, ecological justice, and equitable food systems. I will now pass it over to Brandon for some centering words.
Now it's time for meditation and contemplation. Plant your feet firmly on the ground. Feel the ground pushing back. Relax the muscles, starting at your head, shoulders, arms, legs, feet. Breathe in through your nose, out through your mouth. Breathe in hope. Breathe out frustration. Breathe in peace. Breathe out pain. Breathe in kindness. Breathe out suffering. Please take this moment of silence to meditate and contemplate, and let the stress of the week release while we prepare for a great week to come. Today is a special day. It's a special day for me because it's the 9-year anniversary for when I became a father. 9 years ago today in Provo, Utah, the first 2 children of mine were born. You can see them behind me, the pictures on the wall. Becoming a parent is a special thing. You can read books, you can read the blogs, but until you experience it, it's something that is hard to describe. Over the 9 years, there's been a lot of growth, not just for myself, but also for my kids. They've gotten much bigger. There's been tears, both happy and sad. It's been a wonderful time, and it's gone quickly. With the birth of my children, another special day also happens today. It's Pioneer Day. This is not a well-known holiday, but with the arrival of my kids, there were fireworks all across the landscape in Utah. Many people joke in Utah that it's bigger than the 4th of July on Pioneer Day. It's an important day because that is when Brigham Young, the second prophet for the LDS Church, arrived in the Salt Lake Valley. Some of you may know about the Mormon Church. Its founding roots happened just a few miles away from here in Palmyra, New York. It's an important religion for me because that's the religion of my youth. I grew up born into a Mormon household. I served a 2-year mission. I lived in Australia for 2 years. I learned Chinese. I taught people about the Mormon faith and baptized some into the church. But like many of you, I stumbled my way along until I found the Unitarian Universalist Church, something that felt authentic and true to myself. And I'm glad to be here with you all today. Now, while pioneers are important for the Mormon Church, they're also important for our national identity. Famous sports teams, the Trailblazers, a professional basketball team in Oregon, the 49ers, football in California, the Sooners, Oklahoma, the movement west, the settling of an unsettled land, has found its way into our popular identity and culture. Now, while often the spirit of exploration and independence is romanticized, I think it's important to recognize that not everyone was agreeable to this settling. It's important to understand that this land was not empty. It was taken in many cases from the indigenous people that live there. And today we feel the effects of that. We enjoy many opportunities that are simply not available to others, the Native Americans of this land. But I'm not here to dwell on that past. I would like to emphasize those virtues of pioneers that maybe we can have application and apply to ourselves. Pioneers sacrificed a lot. Some, as in the case of the Mormon pioneers, did not have the money to purchase Conestoga wagons and buy animals to pull it. They built hand carts, carts that some push and pull and could carry very little. And the animal was the person pulling it. It was physically a difficult time, and in some cases, many people died, children, families, from exposure and from the difficulty of the trek. This challenge is still a big part of my LDS culture. Going on trek is an important part of the youth. They go out for a week dressing up as pioneers and pull a handcart while the modern conveniences of life are removed. No cell phones, no flashlights. It's an interesting experience. It's something different that highlights the sacrifice and the work ethic of those in the past. I can trace my family's connection to the LDS faith, 6, 7 generations to the very beginning. And it was a difficult thing to move away from that. Even now, I know about extended family that express great disappointment in my distancing from the faith. It can be challenging moving into an unknown direction. I love poetry, as some of you know. I think of the Robert Frost poem, "Two words diverged in a wood, and I took the road less traveled by." It's not always easy following a path that others disagree with, especially when it's close family. Even now, I live in a mixed faith family. My wife and kids go to the LDS church. And while it was difficult at first to make that separation, we found peace and meaning and learned to respect those differences and enjoy each other's companionship. I sometimes find it funny. My ancestors worked so hard traveling west, pulling handcarts to get to Utah and Idaho, where I grew up. And then as I moved in 2016 to New York, I felt like I was undoing everything they did. Here they worked so hard to get here, and I'm just going back the other direction, moving to New York. Idaho is a beautiful place. I love the mountains. It's a land of wilderness, but I'm happy to have ended up in New York. Western New York is a beautiful place too, and I found great meaning here. And I hope that that sense of exploration and perseverance is a message that we can all take into our lives. In our own way, we are all pioneers of some sort or another. It doesn't mean we have to go camping and put away our cell phones. But being a pioneer isn't just about living as a pioneer did. It's about being authentic to ourselves. It's about making sacrifices to do the right thing that we feel is important. Today, many of those sacrifices revolve around the world that we live in. One of the most important things about the Unitarian Universalist Church is the social justice. We have many imbalances and inequities in our country. And I'm happy to be a part of an organization that works so hard to right those wrongs. It can feel sometimes frustrating and disconcerting when legislation seems to take us back decades. Things that people work so hard, people that pioneered to pass laws that will benefit our communities and help us live in a better world and respect the interconnected lives that we share. But I want you to know that we can, like the pioneers of old, find ways to persevere, find ways to check those boxes. I'm sure as they were packing, they were putting together a list of items. What can we take with us? I mentioned earlier the list that my children create during the summer. We're planning on doing camping trips soon. And my daughter pulled out her pink marker to make a list of what she could take with her. Because it's her birthday today, she got a big squishy stuffed animal. And that was number 1 on the list. She was trying to figure out how many stuffed animals she could take with her. She could take 2 or 3 small ones, or just one really big one. Sometimes we have to figure out what priorities to hold up We can't take it all with us. We don't have time to focus our energy on all the worthy causes that this world requires attention for. But I hope that we can find time to find a few that really matter, and find a little bit of time to understand how we can contribute. A new telescope was recently created, highlighting how big the galaxy is and how small, in some respects, we might feel we are. But I can promise, no matter how small we are, we can make a difference. I'd like to share a song with you that reaches back to the roots of my own heritage and culture as a member of the LDS faith. I remember as a child singing songs that highlighted the story of the children pioneers. Having young kids myself, this rings with a certain familiarity. And as a child singing this is the handcart song. When pioneers moved to the west, with courage strong, they met the test. They pushed their handcarts all day long, and as they pushed, they sang this song. For some must push and some must pull. As we go up the hill, so merrily on our way we go until we reach the valley-o. I can see the children with the handcarts singing that song, and many others like it. There's a lot of steps between here, Illinois, and the Salt Lake Valley. And I'm sure it would have been a difficult time for those children. Everything they had known had been uprooted. Everything in their environment had changed. They're going into an unknown land, something unfamiliar to them. I'm sure the fear was significant for themselves as well as their families. But I think they were hopeful as well. They had left for a reason. They were looking for a new place where they could settle and live in a way that was authentic to them. Often, taking the path less traveled by can come with fear. It can feel scary doing something new and different. This is my first time giving a sermon as a Unitarian Universalist. And though I'm not new to speaking, all the religious speeches in my past are LDS. And the scripts and the ways we speak is a little bit different. But it's okay. I don't have to give up everything that I came from. We can take those parts that still have value and meaning and carry them with us as we remake ourselves, as we learn more about ourselves. We can be pioneers, continuing on one step at a time, as we look for ways to make the world better and ourselves better too. In conclusion, it's my wish and hope that every July 24th, moving forward, you'll remember this lesser known holiday, something that is near and dear to my own heart, and find ways to apply it in your own lives. Pioneer Day doesn't just have to be about fireworks in Utah. Pioneer Day is a time when we can reflect on those challenges that we faced and overcame, on the ways that we have been pioneers in our own lives, and look to the future for that path less traveled by, something that we can do to be better and to do better. It's not always a path that will lead somewhere. I think sometimes the pioneers, there's not just one pioneer trail out west. And some of them are harder than others. Some went through the desert around Nevada, and some went through the mountains around Wyoming. It's a different path that we all take, but we can rely on each other. That's why we're here today, to be together, to share in this community as Unitarian Universalists, to know that while our experiences are different, many of us did not find ourselves, we're not born into the Unitarian Universalist faith. We found our way here, and moving together as a community, we can share and rely on each other to affect that change that we all look for in this world we live in. My hope as we move forward today is that we will be better pioneers and better people. May it be so. Amen.
Please join us in the closing hymn. Today is the hymn is 95. There is love somewhere. Please join me in the extinguishing words. We extinguish the flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again. Thank you for joining us this morning. We invite you to stay on Zoom for a coffee hour, and we will send you into breakout rooms momentarily, so you'll be able to unmute your microphones when the live stream ends.